So the last day of airing out the books is almost over, like, thank fuck.
Good morning.
Morning.
You were awake.
Sure.
How the fuck's her
want to
hair
ask you
standing up
something.
like that, eh?
Huh?
Do you know a person?
Sumi.
Do you know?
Will you keep it a secret?
Sure.
Shuing was raised at an orphanage.
An orphanage?
Yes. With her older brother.
Is Zuming her brother?
Yes. But one day, he suddenly left and no one has heard from him.
I didn't know that.
That's all I know.
How did you find this out?
I was raised in the same orphanage.
Is that so?
Alright, man. Let's get this shite over. It's kind of like night and day when you play disc 3 of this game. It's like so different.
Bring the next pile.
Be bringing the piles out, like, you know. Ken, what I was thinking, Dom, man.
That's the way to go.
Like, we've not talked about Castlevania in a long time, like, you know. Like, what did you make of Lords of Shadow 2, you know? If you're still creeping about in the chat, like. A bit disappointed, like. A bit disappointed with Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. I might as well talk about it while I'm doing this. No, nothing else today. It's just... It was like two different games, Lords of Shadow 2. Half of it was a fucking unbelievable game, and the other half was just an absolute pile of shit. You know? I wish some of these developers would answer your questions, you know, and just be like, what are you thinking? You know, what were you thinking when you made Lords of Shadow 2? You should have just left it in the past. You know, like, for anyone who doesn't know, right? Oh fuck! Half the game's set in the past, half the game's set in the present. And all the stuff that's in the past is just some of the most beautiful game I've ever seen. You know, I absolutely love it. But the rest that's in the future is just shit. I remember asking the developers, before release, I was like, fuck man, we've not seen... Like, you've not showed us anything about the modern day yet. Why? Because they actually said 70% of the game is in the future, 30%'s in the past. I was like, okay, why have we only seen the 30% past? And it's because they knew...
Bring the piles out.
They knew that the future stuff was fucking awful. So bad, man. And we're never gonna get a Lords of Shadow 3 now. All I can say is that just Lords of Shadow 1, at least I'll always have that game, you know? That game's so amazing. I just remember when they announced Lords of Shadow 2, I was too excited. Too excited for that game. And just to get it and be really, really let down by it was just like... Wow, man. Waited fucking 3
We're
years on
almost
that
done.
game. Fucking shame. But these things happen, don't they? It's just like, I believe that Dave Cox, you know? I thought Dave Cox had it under control, that they were taking
almost
good
done.
care of Lords of Shadow 2. Psst. They took care of a good 30% of the game, that's all I can say. The stuff in the past is probably some of the best I've ever seen in a video game. It was everything that I wanted, like. But there's just nowhere near enough of it.
Just a few left.
That's a bummer. No, nonetheless, I don't even know. I wonder what they'll do with Lords of Shadow. I mean, just Castlevania in general now. Who knows what they'll do with it, you know? I'm not going to defend one of my favourite series, you know? Just because it's one of my favourite series.
The next
I'm not
pile
like
is
that,
the last one.
Ken. I'm not going to turn around and say Lords of Shadow 2 was awesome. Just because I'm a huge fan of Castlevania. But like I said though, Lords of Shadow 1 will always be a good thing, you know? It's definitely one of my favourite games of the last generation, hands down, if not my favourite. And that's saying something.
Looks like you're done.
Yes.
The temple has accumulated many books since it was founded. The books are aired out to protect them from humidity.
You wouldn't think they would need to air them out every day though, eh? It's a bit overkill,
has
innit?
given you time to think. Do you know what that means? The Master is worried about you losing yourself in your obsession with revenge. Use the time to concentrate and regain your calm.
But
When the flames of revenge are under control, Master Tao shall tell you about Yandazu.
regain my calm.
Anyway, this is where the game starts getting really fucking good. Right here. We're done with all the shite. Dom, I'm gonna do a new playthrough of Symphony of the Night, man, because, well, now that I've got a capture device, you know.
You're doing what Master you to do.
Probably do the
That
Xbox
is a
version.
good sign.
Yes.
That's actually my favourite version, so...
What is this?
A book of moves. Use it to practice.
Thank you.
Hard to balance the audio in a Castlevania game, actually, because, you want to hear the music, but I want to commentate on it as well. It's like I said, audio's the hardest thing you have to do when you do videos. You know who I think was the real piece of shit behind Castlevania Lords of Shadow? I heard a lot of the developers were talking about it, and seemingly they had some really, really good ideas for the game, but the guy in charge of it never let them do it. That Enrique Alvarez, Spanish guy, who's the guy in charge of it, so it's a lot of bad words going about him. Like, I'm almost inclined to believe it, you know, because well, you know. Go on here. This is where you do the Chawan sign.